Election 2024. You heard the candidates. Now we want to hear from you. Call 701-271-1100 now.
Welcome back to the studios of WZFG, AM 1100, FM 92.3. It's 9:39 Central Time, but we're just getting started here as we wrap up what has been a very interesting debate. Steve Hallstrom, Scott Hennen, Jay Thomas, and a studio audience out at our team space here at our studios in South Fargo. The debate lasted about an hour and 38 minutes altogether, and it was a lot of pointing out the failures of the other guy here tonight. That would probably be my overall comment on what I heard the most here this evening. 701-271-1100. We welcome all of you who are watching us on the video stream on Flag Plus, as well as YouTube and the AM 1100 Flag website as well. Good to have you with on the radio and on the video cast as well. All right, before we let too much time go by, we want to check back with our studio audience, kind of give people a chance to do one more wrap. I can go out there, Scotty, and talk to some folks here. While you guys talk a little bit about what you saw and what you heard here tonight.
While you're doing that, Steve, getting out there to talk to our audience, and we appreciate you all coming out here. Hope you had a great time. I heard a lot of laughing, a lot of, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. There was a lot of hooting and hollering. I was back in my office watching this because I wanted to be away from you two tonight, because when I'm with you and Steve watching this stuff, I'm listening to what you're saying. It's kind of sucking me in. It's like I want to be on my own tonight so I can just come at this from just what I saw. Headlines already: Operation Replacement Biden, Dems scramble with 130 days to go. Another headline: debate catastrophe. Another one: White House is already spinning the worst performance in history. Saying Joel has a cold.
I disagree. Well, he sounded terrible and he looked terrible, but I think he actually did enough where there's not going to be this hue and cry to say he's got to be replaced. He didn't do any. He did like one major freeze up.
One? I counted more than one.
Well, he had a lot of bumbles, but he didn't do a freeze up, like a total just meltdown. Forget where he was going. But my theory is good. He'll still be the candidate.
No, he won't be.
It's not. You think he's going to go from
done.
this?
He's done. They're scrambling right now. They're going, you know what? We did this debate early so we could feel him out. They felt him out, and they're going, he's gone.
Oh, we'll say
he
this.
will be gone.
Trump was very disciplined.
Trump
didn't do any of the antics that'll have them saying, oh, what a bully. He talked over him and everything else. I think the format helped Trump. Let's see what folks out there think.
You're listening to AM 1100 and FM 92.3, The Flag, WZFG Dilworth, AM 1090 and FM 92.7, KTOG in beautiful Tioga. Steve, go ahead, brother.
Sounds good. Thanks so much. I'm going to start from the back of the room here tonight and make sure that we sample some various opinions. I want to hear what you all thought happened tonight. Who did the best job? Who helped themselves the most tonight? Who won the debate? If you want to answer it that way, would love to hear your thoughts. I'm going to start with you, sir. Who did the best job? Who helped themselves out the most tonight?
Trump clearly was able to explain what has happened versus what his opponent claims or thinks he has happened. Trump did a much better job of stating historical fact and bringing context to kind of the Biden lies.
Okay, so you thought Trump helped his cause more than Biden did tonight?
Very much so.
Okay. Sir, what about you? Who helped themselves out the most tonight?
Absolutely Trump. Biden just repeated his 50-year career of lying and repeating facts that just weren't so.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Sir, how about yourself? What did you think? Who helped themselves out the most tonight?
I think Trump did the best job. I think in the end it doesn't matter because I don't think the American people watched as much as they needed to watch. And they'll listen to MSNBC and CNN tomorrow, and they'll spin it in a way that will matter.
That they want to, yeah. Do you think that Biden's, we noted early on that Joe Biden didn't sound well. I mean, I've heard him, he's had some bad moments along the way, but for the most part, he's had more conviction and more purpose to him than what he had tonight. I thought he sounded like he was battling a virus of some kind tonight. Do you think that will show in what people believe that Joe Biden did tonight?
I don't think it will, because I don't think the people that need to see that were watching.
You think the fan bases were watching from both sides, and that's about it. Sir, how about yourself? Who helped their cause out the most tonight, do you think?
I'm going to sound horrible with this. I'm with Scott. I think Biden actually helped himself out enough that he won't get kicked off the ticket, which I'm fine with because I think he's a terrible candidate. because I think he probably would have had to fall over to do that. I think Trump helped himself greatly in the first half. The second half, he got a little bit distracted for a couple questions. But I think, yeah, truly, Biden did enough to not get kicked out.
Okay.
And replaced.
Tell me, thanks so much. Were you left wanting more from Donald Trump than what he gave you tonight?
No, I think he did a good job. I think he was measured, controlled, and I think that's really what I think will help him. But I agree with him. I think Biden probably helped himself the most, even though I think Trump won, because I think he did enough to where they're not going to come looking for his head.
Joe Biden lives to fight another day, you think? Okay, all right, sounds good. How about you? What do you think? Who helped themselves the most tonight?
I think Biden helped himself the most tonight, just like you said, he lives to fight another day. I think Trump could have answered some of the questions a little more directly and succinctly versus taking up his charge for other things.
I thought it was interesting the moderators did not force the candidates to answer questions as much as I maybe thought they might have tonight. They really let them kind of dodge if they wanted to. How about yourself, sir? Who do you think won tonight?
Trump. Well,
okay.
And also one thing is the fact that it's kind of disturbing that we're in this position where one of the presidential candidates, our standards are so low that we're glad that he didn't just fall over.
Bar was set pretty low coming in for Joe Biden. No
well
question.
said.
Watch yourself, sir. What do you think tonight? Who? I see you've got the Joe Biden bingo card tonight. How many? Did you get bingo yet on anything there?
I was a little disappointed. If Joe actually fell down, I was pretty close there, and I figured Jake Tapper would have saved him at least once. And it didn't happen.
Bring that card into us. Let me
Everybody's
take a
praising
look
how
at
Joe
it.
Biden did, but me, and if I took a week off and studied, I'd do a good job too. And I'm not even close to being I'm not the president of the United States. I shouldn't take a week to know what my job is.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Miss, how about you? Who won tonight? Who helped themselves out the most?
Well, I think Biden did okay because, he managed to say some things and kept it fairly coherent. I wish Trump would have been stronger in the second half. I wish he would have answered questions a little bit more directly and not get sucked into the, the way they go back and forth.
Yep.
I wanted direct answers.
The questions that he dodged his way around were some of the tougher questions where you had to come out and make a statement. Do you think he helped himself by not answering those questions?
I'm not sure. I think if your independent voter out there is trying to pick, I think they want to hear what he's going to do and say. That's just what I think. I think he should have been more direct.
What do you think, guys, back here? They both clearly went after each other tonight and wanted to point out how bad the other one was. Who did a better job of raising doubts in people's minds about, hey, this guy can't do the job? Who do you think won in that department tonight?
Well, from my standpoint, Joe accused Trump of a lot of things. The unemployment rate during COVID, all these other things that were really a non-issue from my standpoint. And so Donald Trump had to come back and try and correct some the misstatements that Joe Biden had laid out. And Joe had a lot of misstatements, and I did Google a few. There's other things on Facebook that fact-checked Joe Biden about his misstatements, and it was a little disappointing that the press or the moderators really didn't call Joe Biden out for a lot of his misstatements.
Okay. Who helped themselves the most tonight?
I think I honestly think Biden he did okay. He didn't do as well as Trump, but the whole not fact-checking thing was typical CNN. Didn't surprise me a bit. And when Trump says that Biden is despised by the military, I have yet to find someone in the military that supports Trump or that supports Biden. Yeah, just it doesn't happen. He treats us as second class. We're underlings, whatever. We never got that with Trump.
I did see Scott Hennen had the social media post tonight that Customs and Border Patrol or whatever that agency was that Biden talked about was supporting him, came out with a social media post during the debate and basically said, just for the record so we're clear, we have no support of Joe Biden whatsoever. So he was being fact-checked by the Border Patrol. How about you, sir? What did you think? Who did the best job of helping themselves out tonight?
I think Trump behaved himself better than I expected him to. So from that viewpoint, he came across very well.
Okay, very good. Who helped themselves out the most tonight?
Well, I think Trump was more sincere and honest, and I compare that to Biden when he's continuing to talk about taxation of the wealthy. He needs to go to his own son and look at him as being this tax evader. I mean, it's clearly that he has not even had that serious talk with his own son about paying his taxes on millions and millions.
Okay.
So he's a hypocrite.
All right. Who helped themselves out the most tonight?
Well, of course, I would say Trump did, but I would have liked to see both of them talk more specific about the questions that were asked. Yeah. You know, I think they evaded some of the questions, and I think some of
Who helped themselves out the most tonight?
Trump, of course.
Okay. Trump, a vote there. We got some folks back here, too, that we got to catch up with. So, all right, you guys good? Who's in here? All right. Who helped themselves out the most tonight?
Donald J. Trump, absolutely.
All right. So I want to show of hands on a question here. Who thinks that Donald Trump left an opportunity to make his point about his vision for America and how he would improve things here? Who would raise their hand and say Donald Trump should have made that point more clearly than he did tonight? Should have made it. He did make it? Okay. My question is, who thinks he should have done it better? Who thinks he left an opportunity out there tonight? I guess I felt that way too. And thank you all for coming tonight. It was great to have you all here. And boy, we got one more of these debates coming up later, and then obviously
September.
The big election night coming up in November. You all are welcome to stay as long as you'd like. Thanks for being here with us tonight. Sure means a lot to have you here, and thanks for supporting what we're doing. Thanks very much. All right, guys, back to you.
The time right now is 9:50, 701-277-1100. 1100. Sorry, it's been a long day. We want you to be, what did I say, 277? I'm sorry, 271-1100. You want to be part of the conversation. What did you think of the debate tonight? Who won, who lost, who could have gave more? I towards the end there, like I said earlier, just seemed like, come on, guys, you're dodging the questions. Answer the questions. We want to know how you're going to fix this, how you're going to do this, how you're going to do this. To the phones, and no surprise, our buddy Craig in Moorhead is up first tonight. Craig, welcome to it, buddy.
Hey, I think some of your audience needs to go home tomorrow and rewatch it, because Trump did an excellent job, and I'm not much of a gambling man, but I'll put $50 on that Biden will not be the nominee.
Thank you.
I really believe that.
I'm with you 100%. I think tonight was a test by the Dems that run things behind the scenes, and they went, okay, he didn't pass that test. We got 130 days. Let's scramble. I do not see him being on that ticket.
Fox is reporting that Biden's performance is sparking a Democrat freak out.
I've told you, I was reading the headlines, man. They're freaking out tonight. They are. He is not going to be on the ticket. And I will say this. I was impressed, even though I'm wearing the Trump hat, I was impressed. I was worried that we would see that Don, where he just goes off. He was very disciplined tonight, guys.
I do think, like the crowd said, that there could have been more about, here's what I'm going to do for you in the next 4 years. But what he's basically saying is, you were in a good place when I was president. We're going to bring that back.
But he had to keep coming back, like you said earlier. He had to keep coming back and fact-checking what Biden was saying.
Yeah, he did, which obviously is part of the way that Biden was getting a little bit under his skin, so he had to come back and make those points. But I thought, all in all, Trump had his best debate performance of any debate he's been in, without question. And I think they thought that whole cutting his mic off thing was going to hamper him, and I think it actually helped him. But I think if you watch this debate, somebody on Fox, I think it was even Harold Ford, a Democrat, said he was staring out like an empty vessel. I mean, the look on his face during this debate was very different than if you were listening. If you were listening to it, you heard a weak old man, barely able to complete a sentence, mumbling around. And if you looked at him, he looked like a deer in headlights.
And there's a headline right there from a senior Democrat: debate was worst case scenario.
I disagree.
Before I let you go, Craig, and get to these other calls, before we let you go, who are they going to grab for the ticket if it's not Biden?
Oh, Jay.
Come on.
That's a good guess. Who the heck knows? But Trump waxed him totally. Anybody that doesn't see that way has got Trump derangement syndrome and can't see the forest for the trees.
Craig, appreciate the call. 701-271-1100. Steve, I'll let you jump in here, and then we'll get to, I believe is it Dieter's next? Dieter's coming up next.
Dieter from Germany. I like it. Look, there's an old saying in football that your quarterback needs to be good on the first drive. basically saying, get out to a fast start, get your offense locked in, and you set the tone for the whole game. Joe Biden got better as the debate went on, but his first 3-4 minutes, first of all, Scott and I were looking at each other like, is he okay? He sounds like he had pneumonia and got bit by a couple mosquitoes up here that had West Nile. It felt like he had everything working against him, and Trump hit him hard because Biden had one of his worst answers right away when he talked about, we finally beat Medicare. And I was like, did he just say what I think he just said? And Trump pounces on, you beat Medicare to death.
Yeah,
and
it was pretty good.
All
That was
laughed. It was probably
best line of the night.
The best line of the night, and it came in the first 2 or 3 minutes. And I think, guys, I was, and you were, and most of our audience, we pay attention to this stuff, and we wanted to hear what the audience was, or what the sound bites was going to be, what the answers were going to be like. But most of America that doesn't watch it that detailed, that is not examining all the policy points, they just look at, does the movie look like it might be fun to watch tonight? And if you looked at Joe Biden right away, you saw him and this dazed and confused look like you guys were talking about, and heard this, we finally beat Medicare, and like, what in the world did that mean? I think a lot of people that came in hoping for a good Joe Biden said, like, we can't recover from this.
Yeah.
And that's why I think there's probably some people now saying this was a bad deal for Joe Biden.
I was really surprised that Biden put as many chips on the whole very good people on both sides, since it had just recently been debunked.
Exactly.
I mean, it's so easy. Even the media has to say that didn't happen.
Yeah, and I love when Trump called them out when they wanted to play the January 6th game.
Yeah.
And Trump immediately, hey, Nancy Pelosi came out, and that's fact. She came out and said, yep, I dropped the ball.
But think about it. Joe Biden has been bunkered up for the last week. He and his advisors are just spending time with all the
about this stuff.
But I think they're just so focused on how we're going to get Joe's drugs right and his sleep right and his hydration levels or whatever.
Guys,
I just think they weren't paying attention to what the rest of the world was given.
I swear that guy had some small, tiny little earpiece in, so tiny that we could not see it, because he kept tilting like a dog when you blow a whistle, like he's like somebody's telling him something and he can't quite hear it. We got to get back to the phones. Dieter, welcome to the show.
Hi, you got to forgive me because we had a drinking game. How many times did he say the idea of that? Because he had to have said it at least 50 times.
Well, if that was part of your drinking game, it sounds like he did. I believe you.
Oh, God. But other than that, he was sharper in attack, and I can't wait for the golf playoff.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That was funny.
You know he's going to beat Trump bad.
Well, Joe Biden, he was challenging Donald Trump to carry his own bag. Could Joe Biden carry a lunchbox?
He can't even ride a bicycle.
Oh, my word.
Let's do this. Let's do it. Let's set it up.
I love it.
Honestly, that would be better than a debate. That would be better than... I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Dieter. Appreciate it. Glad you had a great drinking game tonight. Carl, you're up. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, hey, Carl out here at Argusville.
Yeah.
Say, I thought Biden's nonverbal and his look up on the stage was just absolutely terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Trump did a wonderful job of diverting back and finishing the item, because they would go back and give him the chance to answer. They'd re-ask the question, then he could go to the question. But I was disappointed that Trump left a lot of things on the table tonight. He had the chance to just smoke them, and I'm sitting here going, my God, no, don't talk about your golf game. You got a chance to bury these guys, and you got a chance to bring up when they talk about the election and fair elections. Where's the 15% of the people wouldn't have voted for Joe Biden if they'd have known about the Hunter Biden laptop?
That's a good one. Yeah, exactly. And by the way, that's
opportunity.
Yeah,
there was all kinds of opportunities for him to bring up these things, and also for him to tell America what democracy really is. Because we've been given by the left this democracy at stake. He needs to tell us what democracy really is. But I think Trump just left too much on the table tonight. Too much he didn't finish. The stupid thing about the golf game and whatever. I mean,
yeah, Trump should have finished every answer with something about the economy, inflation, border security, whatever, and make it very simple to people. Look, stuff cost 20% less when I was in office. I did it before. I'll do it again. No matter what numbers Joe wants to tell you about what inflation was or is, you remember what it was like and you know what it's like right now. Vote for me. I will return us to a country where you can afford things, where we don't let China fly a spy balloon over our whole country.
I'm surprised that didn't come up.
It absolutely should
the
have.
Effect of letting. What about the effect of letting all these people in?
Yes.
We got people being raped and murdered.
He did hit that,
He hit that hard.
Guys. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
I don't think he could have done any better on the border stuff. I
Yeah.
thought he
He did
nailed
pretty
it.
good
I
on the
thought he
border.
really thought he did a really good job on the border.
Yeah, Carl, I thought he hit that too. But Carl, like I said earlier, and all three of us, I think all four of us, including you and many others, I was getting the point towards the end, last half hour or so, that it's like, come on, answer these questions. And I'm talking both guys. It's like, give an answer.
Yep.
All right, Carl. Hey,
I hear ya.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks, Carl. Appreciate it.
Before we go any further, I want to
Seth,
let you
you're
know
next.
you're listening to WZFG, Dilworth, Fargo, Moorhead, USA, AM 1100, FM 92.3. You're also listening to us out in the patch tonight on KTGO in Tioga, AM 1090 and FM 92.7.
And let me mention our sponsors. A big thank you for making this happen. Labor Masters, they also sponsor Biden's bloopers, and Steve will tell you about that. And also, we had great food like we always do when we hold these events. Could not do it without Casey Joe's Catering tonight. They did cheeseburgers, and these things were delicious and massive. And if you've got an event coming up and you want it catered, it doesn't matter what size. They were catering 500 plus before they came here today. They will get you taken care of. Get a hold of Casey Joe's Catering. Seth, thanks for hanging on. You're up at 701-271-1100.
Yeah, I'm calling from Euclid, Minnesota.
Nice.
I listened to your power drop down twice, then I had to switch over to Wi-Fi and go on a YouTube channel. But anyways, Joe Biden, yeah, he sucked. I drank 6 brandy old fashions throughout the whole thing. I'm more coherent than that guy was. I'm on my 7th one right now.
No, really?
Oh yeah.
Now, do you smoke
Brandy
yours,
old-fashioned.
Seth? Do you do yours where you put the smoke in them?
The smoke, no, the bitters. The bitters.
Okay, all right.
I thought Joe Biden at moments, I thought he had a lot of good moments, but then he would quickly drop to a spot where he couldn't figure what he wanted to say. And it was like,
How about his closing argument talking about lead pipes?
I know.
What in the world?
I thought that was like a Monopoly game thing. I thought that was something from the past.
Yeah, he faded fast
I
there. He
remember
gives you
playing that
no
game when I
sense
was a kid. You
of
get hit the
excitement at
head
all.
of the lead pipe.
Sundowning.
And the Biden's bloopers we're talking about, there were 1,000 trillionaires in America. I love that one.
Yeah.
And how he killed Medicare.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
And the
I
closing
got that one right off the get-go.
The closing statement from Biden, I mean, the gist of it, the core of the very essence of his closing statement was all these problems that you're seeing now, the inflation, the economy, it's his fault.
Yeah.
It's what Donald Trump did when he was in office. I can't think of a worse way to close than instead of giving a vision of how you're going to do things or make it better, you talk about, I've screwed up a whole lot of stuff, but it's really this other guy's fault. It was a terrible closing statement.
Seth, appreciate the phone call. Glad you're listening in beautiful Minnesota over there. Here's the number, 701-271-1100. You can also use your smart speaker to listen to us. You can go online. Flag app. You can go online and watch us on the YouTube channel. And if you do that, make sure you subscribe to it. Cost you nothing. And oh, by the way, Flag Plus subscriptions tonight. Now, that has nothing to do with our YouTube channel. This is where you get exclusive content that you're not going to get anywhere else, including our show called The Common Sense Club, where we get together once a week and just bash it out, rip it out, sometimes rip on each other. Right now, Flag Plus subscriptions are 20% off tonight, only at flagfamily.com/debate. So like Steve said earlier, Biden's running the prices up, and we're doing our part to bring them back down to help you out.
Headline on Drudge right now.
What do you got before we get back to the phones?
Operation Replace Biden. Dems scramble with 130 days to go.
Yeah, it's
debate catastrophe. I don't think it was that bad. I mean, there were plenty of moments you can pick apart, But and I think they have enough here to say, oh, he did pretty good. He got in his punches on Trump and everything else.
Well, they'll say that in front of the cameras, but I'm telling you, that man is not on the ticket come November. And look, did Biden have a better night than I thought he was going to have? Yes, he did. Did CNN actually do better than I thought they were going to do?
Pretty good.
I was, for the most part, I'm in my office watching going, they're doing way better than I thought they did. But there were kind of spots there where you went, okay, they're protecting Biden a little bit. But I think it was different than we thought it was going to be, guys.
Yeah, they did not badger Trump at all. At all.
The mic off thing, by the way, was fantastic.
I think it was a good move. I do. It was we had more opportunity for substance than we ever had. I don't know that we really got it. I mean, both candidates
left us hanging.
Time. Well, and they ended early. Yep. I mean, how many times you got 58 seconds left and like, come on. I mean, you wait for them to stop you and say that's enough. So it wasn't the greatest debate in terms of getting everything out. And that's where I say, like, every statement Trump made, he should have ended with something about inflation and the cost that you pay, because that's what I think can win him this election.
701-271-1100. Back to the phones. What did you think? What did you take away from tonight's debate? What do you see going forward? Sherman, thanks for your patience. You're up with the boys.
Yeah, boss. I agree. I wanted to see some more things, a lot more direct from Trump, to him to attack a lot more. But I guess maybe I heard some, maybe kept saying reserve so he can show he can be. It looked like Joe was calling more names than what Trump did.
Yeah.
Stupid and all this stuff. And so maybe I would like to see him more direct. I like to see him argue that the Trump's brand. He gets out there and I wanted him to see him be more specific on some things because Joe would be giving numbers, and I'd like him because I think Donald Trump, when he was speaking, kind of talks like everybody already knows what he's saying, like the right. We know what he's talking about, but a lot of people on the other side may not. And so when he's like, I'm doing better, he speaks in generalities and a lot of things, and but I would like to give him some more specifics. I think he could have argued a little more, but they was cutting the thing off. So I'm looking forward to the next one. But last thing I was going to say, I think when Joe Biden, when he was talking about the water and he mentioned about the lead pipes, I believe he was talking about Flint, Michigan.
Oh, okay.
It just didn't belong in a closing statement. He wasn't. It just
it was out of nowhere.
Throws out lead pipes without any context, and it's in his last 2 minutes. I mean, it just was one of those odd moments for sure. He just showed up at a watch party where they have a DJ playing. Joe really gives you kind of the DJ vibe, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Out there hanging out with him.
Yeah,
and he and the first
and I would really like to see on one of the other debates before, years ago, when Donald Trump would get him real mixed up when he'd say, was it before or after Joe? And he would say numbers, and he would confuse him real bad.
Yeah, that's right.
He was allowed to, but I thought it was so great when he would say, was it after Joe, or was it before, after? He would say numbers, and he would confuse. We're supposed to have another debate.
From one of our many people in our chat room tonight on our YouTube channel. I love this. Best line of the night, guys. I really don't know what he just said. I don't think he knows what he just said.
That was a good one.
That was a good line. By the way, the
thanks, Sherman.
The tweet from the Border Patrol Union says, to be clear, we never have and never will endorse Biden.
That's right. Let me, before we get back to the phones, guys, let me get caught up because we got a lot of action going on in the chat room on our YouTube page, which, by the way, you can subscribe to for free. AM 1100, The Flag on YouTube. Subscribe, hit that bell. Let's see. From Jacob, I'll admit CNN did a good job asking tough questions. Another one from Bianca. Trump well-behaved tonight. Ryan says Biden looked and sounded like he was microwave prior to the debate. Andrew, the idea that times... Okay, I'm not understanding that one, Andrew. Biff says maybe a bit by cannibal. Okay, I'm surprised that didn't come up tonight unless I missed it. Let's see. Another one says, I'm listening to see how y'all reacted to Trump and Biden, period. Another one, to say that Joe Biden had a bad night is like saying O.J. Simpson didn't handle rejection well. Ooh. That lead pipe thing, had to do... Hey, guys, the lead pipe thing had to do with corn pop. That's funny.
Let's get back to the calls.
I'll try to get to all these. Let's go to Chris. Hey, Chris, where are you calling from, brother?
Hi there. I'm in West Fargo.
Greatest town in the upper Midwest. Welcome to the Common Sense Club. What do you got, buddy?
Sure. I got a couple of things written down. First of all, I did not watch the debate. I've just been listening to it. So all the conversation about how he looked, I have no idea. I have yet to see that.
Oh, you'll like it.
Listening to him, but listening to him tonight, Biden sounds very old and just not all there. I got a couple other things written down here. Biden made a comment towards the end of the debate, talked about how we're better off or how Americans feel that they're better off. I was shaking my head. It's like, has this guy not seen gas prices that we're paying or the prices that we're paying in the grocery store?
Well, they don't, because they live in a bubble. They have no clue what we're going through day in and day out. I went to the gas station this morning, and like overnight, gas went up 30 cents. I'm like, are you kidding me? It was just like $3.09 the other day. I should have filled up then. But Chris, they live in a bubble.
Right. So a couple of things about Trump. I was hoping that he would not do his exaggerations as much tonight. It's always about how we were so much better respected around the world, or when I was a president, things were the best in history. And I agree with him that when he was president, things were definitely better, but he does exaggerate things.
Yeah, I agree. I noticed that tonight, too. Everything was the best it's ever been. There's never been another
That's just
anything.
Trump. It's just him. That's his
just
MO.
him, but you lose some credibility when everything is always the best ever.
There was plenty of embellishment on those kind of things, but again, I think that's just just Trump. That's just his style. You're always going to get that from him.
Yeah, exactly.
At least he's.
You're never going to get him 100% clean cut, and that's not what we want from him.
But again, I would say this is the best the best Trump debate performance in any one of the debates that he's done to this point. Back to Hillary and with Biden in 2020.
Yeah. Chris, appreciate the phone call. If you want to jump in.
Anything else, Chris?
I just lost them. Okay. 701-271-1100. And Chris, if I cut you off, I apologize. If you can get back through, call back. I think that was my bad there. Mike, you're up on the Common Sense Club on AM 1100 The Flag and 1090 KTOG out in the patch. KTGO out in the patch. I got to get used to these call letters, pal.
Yeah, I would like to say that Trump handled himself very well, considering everything he's been through. I was expecting to show up with a ball bat on stage. What Biden put him through has been incredibly insane. And another thing is that when they were talking about the cognitive abilities and everything with Joe Biden and Trump, I was liking Trump to go pure Donald Trump on the guy and say, just look at this candidate, look at me. That's a stupid question. That's exactly the way I would handle it. And I was kind of happy for Trump. He showed a lot of restraint. I don't know how he did it, but he clearly won the debate, and he's a good guy.
I mean, if you're scoring this thing, with debate points, I think Trump won the debate.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And again, I think the bar was so low. The bar was so low with Biden that you could say he survived it. He got through it without too many. I mean,
and that's where it was set. That's where the bar was set.
Yeah,
for him.
So low that he cleared the bar, but that isn't exactly saying a lot.
If I was to give it to 1 to 100. Trump 99.5 and Biden gets 0.5 for just showing up and be able to stand.
Mike, thanks for listening. Really do appreciate it. It is 10:12. Real quick before we get back to the phones. We're monitoring weather out in western North Dakota, and it looks like they are getting pounded out there. 91-mile-an-hour wind gusts, a lot of rain.
Oh, my word. Where is that?
That's out in the Dickinson area, so I'm keeping an eye on that. And I've got the radar up, and now this stuff is rolling through Bismarck. So you folks in Bismarck, you're experiencing some weather right now. As it rolls over to the east and into this part of the state, where, of course, if you're listening not locally, we are in the Fargo area of eastern North Dakota. We will see stuff here. It looks like about 11. It's going to start rolling in. Could see some pounders between 1 and 2 tonight, but we will keep you up to date with that as long as we're on. And if weather does break and gets out of control, we've got the greatest weather staff on the planet. Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, Justin Storm. They will jump on. They have access to be able to get on the air and take care of you on all of our stations. All right, let's go to Moorhead, guys. Eric, thanks for hanging on. You're up on the Common Sense Club at 701-271-1100.
Yeah, it's Master Sergeant Martz.
Hi.
I want to, first of all, thank the flag and WDAY for what you guys are doing. It's so important, not only on the national debates, but not the local and regional state stuff as well. It was fantastic.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We love doing it. It's a passion of ours. It's what gets us out of bed in the morning. We're doing it for a reason. We love doing it with all of you.
Obviously, I just listened to the debate, and I have to say that President Biden sounded very old and weak. It was hard to understand him at times. But one of the things that hasn't been brought up yet, and is so important to me, is early on his statement that no soldiers died underneath his presidency. And it really shows the inconsistency, the lack of being in touch with the military and what they're doing to it, the veterans, what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
It is devastating. Not only the stuff that happened in Afghanistan, but the continuous attacks on our soldiers that's happened in the Middle East from all the terrorist groups and the young soldiers that died in Tower 22. And it's just so obvious that he does not really have a plan for Ukraine and Russia. He does not have a plan for Israel and Hamas. It's a lack of total leadership.
Master
and
Sergeant.
I know all politicians kind of dodge questions, but man, it was so very obvious.
Master Sergeant Eric Martz, you're right. This under this administration, his leadership, and this is close to my heart because we have our son Derek, who served 2 tours of duty in Afghanistan, who is still in the military, even though everything that this administration is doing to turn our military woke and just treat our soldiers horribly, he still is committed to the Army and to the United States. But it is so frustrating for him and many of the soldiers. They are taking the world's greatest fighting machines and trying to knock them down. Our military isn't about being woke, about giving timeout cards. Our military is trained to go out there, and some people may not like this, and I don't care, but the military is trained to go out and kill. If you've got to kill, you kill them. You're trained to win. You're trained to protect these United States of America. And all you have to do is look at across all branches, with the exception of the Marines. They're the only ones that are meeting their goals. The rest of the rest of the branches, they are so far behind in getting recruitments. That is scary, especially the times that we're living in right now, because these knotheads in Washington, D.C., and President Trump is right. We are so close to World War III, and these knuckleheads are going to get us sucked in there. And how do we defend a country when the leaders, the powers to be, are more concerned about if we're woke, if people are getting timeouts, if we got enough, if we got an equal amount of transgender people in there. I don't care if you're transgender. I don't care who you go climb in bed with at night. What I care about is that you're trained to protect this country, this flag, and you're trained, if you got to go in to kill, you're going to kill the enemy and end it. And that is not happening anymore, Master Sarge. And it's not the boots on the ground. It's not the men and women. It's the people up in the ivory towers in Washington, D.C. that have no clue what's going on.
Absolutely. And this transcends anything left, right, conservative, or progressive. If we overlook the very individuals that gave limb, eyesight, life, if we can't even acknowledge that people had sacrificed on our watch, then they have no business being in office.
Appreciate your call tonight.
I'll let you guys go.
You bet. Take care.
Thank you for your service, Master Sarge.
701-1100 is our telephone number. By the way, on World War III and the condition we find ourselves in right now, I thought Trump did a pretty good job of weaving that in all night to say we wouldn't be in this mess right now with Ukraine. We wouldn't have had Hamas coming into Israel and doing what they did. Did a pretty good job. I mean, I think anybody out there with the concerns of are my kids going to be called into this war? Is this going to continue forever? They're going to say, there's one guy that's got a pretty good point there. I thought he did a good job on that point tonight.
I think overall, when you take a look at this debate, I feel like it's a debate where to liken it to like betting on the NFL, like Trump came in as a 7-point favorite in this thing. You just knew that he was going to be more effective, and you thought Biden might fall apart. And Trump maybe won it by 4 or 5, so it feels like it's a disappointment and the underdog did better than you think. But Trump still won this very clearly because he was much more coherent on the points. He made his points about Biden's record and how he has failed. And I think he just looks like a guy who feels like he could give you an honest 8 at least every day. And Joe Biden did nothing to make you feel like he can put in a long day, 2 a.m. when you got to make the calls about Syria. Then he's going to be there for you to do what needs to be done.
We're keeping an eye right now. Governor Burgum is up on stage. It looks like is that Sean? Yeah, I got to get.
He's with Sean Hannity and Vivek Ramaswamy.
Are both up there. I want to go to that real quick. If we could just real quick, and then Jason and Wilson,
hang on.
Tact
on this, agreeing with everything that you said in the previous 6, and Vivek and I got to sit together and watch it. But if you're a business person and you're watching this, there was no answer from Joe Biden about inflation. There was no about energy policy. There was nothing about high interest rates. All he talked about was, I'm going to keep taxing the rich. And when he talked about a solution, everything was him spending money. So this is a 50-year-old Democrat plan, tax spend, and they think that's their way to a solution. And what you said earlier, Sean, is the thing that I think scares every American, is that, Putin was watching this. China was watching. I mean, China, what they're doing in the Philippines last week and what they may do now, when they see that kind of weakness on our stage, it is, as Vivek says, it is frightening.
It's kind of chilling because
okay,
we
got
week,
it. We can always come back. If you don't think that man's the vice president, you're wrong.
Let's listen to him here.
All right, you want him more?
Yeah.
I've got callers waiting, but we'll get to the callers. Go ahead, bring them back up.
Organized by Wink and Tony Blinken. They did it to basically influence an election. Polls show that it had an effect on the outcome of that election. He also lied about never speaking to his son or brother or anybody. His own son says he's the big guy. His own son says that he gave half his income to his pops and paid his home repair bills.
So you're absolutely right. If you look at the polling of independents after the 2020 election, many of them said they would have changed their vote had they known about the Hunter Biden laptop. But I'm worried this time around, Sean, we would be at risk of seeing that on steroids. Because imagine this scenario. Imagine a scenario where Biden won narrowly after he goes on that stage and calls Trump a convicted felon, which is the stated strategy of the Democrats right now. Yeah. Then the Supreme Court overturns the conviction in New York, which I expect is going to happen. What is that going to do to the future of the actual health of democracy in this country? And I think President Trump's best moments tonight were when he really came through the camera and authentically landed things that were just true. The fact that he doesn't have to be doing this. I thought his admission of that, the fact that I would not be running for president if you had done a good job, that I was rooting for you to do a good job.
By the way, wasn't that a pretty good moment? I thought that was one of his best moments.
I thought it was the best moment. The combination of that honesty.
I don't know about that or the golf part.
The golf part, especially when he got them out of the childish. He said, let's not be childish anymore.
Yeah.
But the part where Trump looked through the camera and says, I don't want to be doing this. I wanted you to be a good president. The contrast between that and I think Biden's inherent absence of presence, that I think will bring a lot of independent voters overnight.
Let me ask you both. If you're asked, and this is a quick exit question, if you're asked, would you accept the VP spot?
I think anybody has duty to this country to say yes, and I think President Trump's
I would say no, but go ahead. By the way, not that there's ever a chance in hell. I could not vet as well as you. Go ahead.
There's a lot of great choices.
Say, tonight, that's an interesting question. Tonight's all about Donald Trump, his fantastic performance. You look around this arena tonight, there's a
dozen. He said yes, and you're dodging.
There's a dozen
You dodged the last time. You ducked the last time.
The VP question is Joe Biden's VP pick 4 years ago.
I think it's got to be who Donald Trump's most comfortable with. I think that's the answer. Yeah. Thank you both. All right, when we come back, we're just getting started.
All right, there we go. Who do you see sitting up there? Doug Burgum, Vivek Ramaswamy. Those two. Which one's going to be the VP? I'm going with Burgum. Burgum is going to be the VP. Steve's shaking his head no.
No, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying
just a parlor game.
How do you predict what Donald Trump wants?
Because we have. My mind is telling me it's.
I have no clue. I think both guys would be phenomenal.
I don't think Vivek's I don't even think Vivek's in the running, to tell you the truth.
Don't.
I don't.
Not for VP.
No.
He's going to be somewhere in the cabinet.
Oh,
though.
I hope so.
Let's go all the way out to Williston. Hey, Jason, before we get into the debate, did you guys get smacked out there with bad weather, or was that more south and east of you?
No, it was more south of us. We just got some rain here. It looks like it's kind of clearing up here. I don't think we're going to get no heavy bad weather here tonight. Just rain is all I think we're going to get.
Yeah, I'm looking at the radar out there for you folks in Williston. It looks like it's done. All right, brother, you're up on the Common Sense Club. What do you got for us?
Well, I think it was a pretty good debate. There's a few things I'd like him to talk about. I'd like him to talk about if we go to complete electric cars and stuff like that, we might as well lock up this town out here. And I'd hate to see that because my wife owns a business and we thrive on that business, and I thrive on the trucking part of it, on gravel, building pads, and whatever else. And so if we don't have all that, what are we going to do with all the people? He claims he puts all these people to work. What are we going to do? Just send everybody home and put them on welfare? Or what are we going to do? Send them down the road or what? That's
great points.
Things I wish Donald Trump would have asked about that question. And there's a couple other things that there's a guy down here that we work with in a gravel pit that's from South Africa, and I'd like Scotty to interview this guy. He's very smart, and these countries, Donald's right, they won't want Biden. Their countries have never been so bad as they want Trump to be president. They made money. They were able to thrive, and they'll plain tell you he's in bed with China. He's in bed with George Soros. It's called the Five Capital Club, is what he's telling me. He was down. This guy is amazing to listen to, and he makes a lot of sense. And we are going to get into a World War III.
Tell them
other countries they hate us.
Tell them to give us a call tomorrow. We'll be doing the rate the debate tomorrow. So have your friend call us.
He's going to give me He's going to give me a phone number. I was going to give him your phone number. He'd like to sit down with you and talk to you. He was in Special Forces, and he can tell you a lot of things.
There you go,
Anytime.
Scott.
Love to hear from him. Appreciate the call.
Thanks, Jason. Chris made it back in from West Fargo. I accidentally cut him off about a half hour ago. Chris, I apologize for that. I was a little quick on the trigger.
That's right. Thanks for having me back. So had a couple more points to make. Trump talked a lot about the illegals tonight. I thought that was good. And I think it should have hit a lot of people hard. You know, he mentioned that the benefits that the illegals are getting could be going to minority groups or vets. I thought that was a really good point.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Are you there?
Good notes. Yeah, you took good notes.
Right.
Good stuff, Chris. Appreciate the phone. Now I got to let you go because we're running short on time.
You guys know who Nicole Wallace is on MSNBC?
I don't. No, I don't.
She's just total Trump derangement syndrome, okay? Can't stand the guy.
Is she like the only one on MSNBC?
No, she's one of about 100.
Yeah,
Listen to what she said tonight after the debate. Roll that.
And there is a conversation happening inside Biden's circle, and certainly a much more frank conversation happening inside the Democratic coalition. And I think there will be stories of a lot of concern about the performance tonight. And I think when you say conversations happening, what do you mean? I think people are talking. I think the conversations range from whether he should be in this race tomorrow morning to what was wrong with him. And there is a conversation happening.
That is on MSNBC.
Wow.
Rachel Maddow and Nicole Wallace.
I'm telling you, guys, he is not going to be on a ticket. This was his test from the powers to be behind, saying, let's get him out there early. Let's see how he does. We got 130 days now. We got to do something because this guy is not going to make it.
Let the lefties go to war, but I think Biden rather did well enough tonight to survive. I really do. I think they won't be able to throw him under the bus with this. Now, there could be more happen now. Where does he go tomorrow? Does he freeze up somewhere? Does he,
Well, he's going to go sleep it off for about a week.
Continue the stumbles, but...
Well, we've been saying it all along. He wasn't good tonight. He just wasn't a train wreck.
Right.
And because of it, we thought he might be. And so the fact that he wasn't maybe keeps him in the fight a little bit longer. But this is the best case scenario for Republicans, I think. If you feel like you want Joe Biden to stay in, he did enough. He didn't completely embarrass himself. But if you listen to what he said and how he approached it, I mean, that one of the first questions he had was about Trump and abortion. And Biden just on his own brings up the 12-year-old who got murdered in Houston, said, and this guy went to the funeral. Like,
what in the world was that?
Like, why would you give Donald Trump an immense amount of credit for going to a funeral? Then brings up some random point about how brothers and sisters are raping girls too. It's like, what are you doing here?
Make sure Biden's bloop. I couldn't believe that. I'm like, did he just say that?
This was like about 2 minutes after he gave the line about we finally beat Medicare. And I thought he can't recover from this, and he did, but it started out so badly for him. It was awful.
Guys, already Drudge Report's got it up, and there are 30,000 votes. Who should replace Biden? Gavin Newsom, 23.5. Kamala, 14.9. Hillary, 12.5. Gretchen Whitmore, 10%. And 39% say other.
Let the food fight begin among the left. That'd be great.
The fact that other is leading is a good sign for Republicans that they don't really have a great candidate there. They just don't.
Gentlemen, we've got about a minute and a half, and you know what? Because this is your wheelhouse, I'm going to let you guys take it because you're going to be pounding on this tomorrow on your shows. I'll touch it a little bit, but I want Scott, give us a summary of tonight's debate in Scott Hennen's world.
Biden survived enough to live another day, but there will be a conversation about this. Trump, pretty disciplined, did pretty well. Could have done a few areas where he focused more on the future, but for the most part, his best debate performance of any time on the national stage.
Steve Hallstrom's world.
Trump gets a B+ tonight. I could maybe see an A-, but I thought he left too much meat on the bone. Joe Biden gets a C, about what we thought, but there's no way that an average American who's not fully invested and fully informed can watch Joe Biden tonight and say, that's my leader. I'm going to run through a brick wall for him. 4 more years of that. Nobody is saying that tonight.
We will all talk to you tomorrow on our programs. Don't forget, you got about an hour and a half left. Flag Plus subscriptions, 20% off tonight at flagfamily.com/debate. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll have another one coming up down the road. Thank you.